Oklahoma quarterback Jalen Hurts spoke with the media today, and we're going to talk about what he had to say about following up Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray at OU, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today we are going to talk about Jalen Hurts stepping to the podium and answering questions from reporters that got a chance to talk with him at a press conference earlier today. That would be Wednesday. And I thought that of all the things that he said, one of the things that I took away was what he had to say about a question about following up number 1 overall pick Baker Mayfield and one of the top quarterbacks in the 2019 NFL draft, Kyler Murray at Oklahoma. Take a listen.
Hey, Jalen, you not only have all that you just laid out, but you mentioned the 2 Heisman winners, a couple of guys that could potentially both be the top picks in the draft. The challenge of stepping into one of those guys' shoes would be pretty immense. You're stepping into both. How do you sort of wrap your head around the challenge of all that and the decision to do that?
I think I clearly understood what I got myself into. But I also know that I have expectations for myself. I've always have. I've always been my biggest critic. I've always been, critical of myself. And I'm a coach's kid. I was brought up different, brought up in the field house day in and day out. It wasn't going home. It wasn't doing those things. My daycare, so say, was being a ball boy on the sidelines or going to practice Monday through Thursday and, being on the sidelines on Friday, watching my dad coach and my brother play. But, it's different strokes for different folks. So I'm in this situation, and I definitely want to maximize my time at the University of Oklahoma.
So as you can see, Jalen Hurts is his own man, which is exactly what you would expect to get from a grad transfer. It's the guy that's already got his degree from Alabama, came out of Channel View, and along with saying, I know what I got myself into, he also says, look, I am my own person, and I grew up in the field house. I am the son of a coach. I know what I'm doing here. And I think that is going to put a lot of OU fans at ease, and we're going to have Bama fans going like, yes, this is the Jalen Hurts that we know. This is Jalen Hurts that we love. I also thought that in this presser, it was really interesting to hear him say, look, I saw CeeDee Lamb as a freshman, and I kind of wanted him to end up at Alabama. So that chemistry is already coming along. Your quarterback and your number 1 wide receiver are already getting along. But also, Jalen Hurts was not cowed by any of the questions that were asked of him. He walked in here knowing who he is, and that Lincoln Riley and the team expect him to lead. I thought that was also interesting, and I think we all know why Jalen Hurts is at Oklahoma. And it's not because he isn't a great quarterback already. It's because he wants to become a better one. It's because he looked at what Lincoln Riley was able to do with Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield and say, maybe that guy can tweak my game in such a way that not only am I a Heisman finalist come December, but I'm being talked about as the top quarterback in the NFL draft. And if you listen to what NFL personnel have had to say about Lincoln Riley and his offense, it's that, hey, they do a lot of things at Oklahoma that translate directly to what's going on in the NFL today. Matter of fact, Spencer Hall on this very show said, look, I bet Andy Reid watches every bit of Oklahoma tape and then takes it to Kansas City. And you saw Kansas City, they're playing the AFC title game against the eventual Super Bowl champions. So if Jalen Hurts can master Oklahoma's offense and then Lincoln Riley can turn Jalen Hurts into a 3rd straight Heisman finalist quarterback and even perhaps a 3rd straight Heisman winner on the way to a college football playoff berth and win, we're talking about Jalen Hurts reaching another stratosphere in the quarterback conversation, because I don't think anybody is making any qualms about Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert being the top quarterbacks in the 2019 season looking ahead. But there's no reason to believe that Jalen Hurts could not be one of them, especially since he is up to the challenge. He knows that he is here to do a job. And no matter how you feel about him splitting his ties between Bama and Oklahoma, and you get the Jalen Hurts fans coming over from Alabama just to watch him play and to root him on for one season, you can understand that the guy is going to do it on his own terms. And you can understand that he is not going to just be cowed by the legend of Baker Mayfield and the legend of Kyler Murray at Oklahoma. Again, these are all very important things because you are now the signal caller at the University of Oklahoma, and people are just going to talk about you in a different way because of what this offense has been able to do, because of what Lincoln Riley's been able to do since arriving here in 2015, and the way that he speaks about how he is going about his business is going to clue everybody in as to what wavelength he's on, not just with the offense, but with Lincoln Riley. Because this is another man, again, who is his own man. He is an adult. You're going to have to treat him as such. I think that's kind of the thing that really gets stuck on, and not to the degree that I always want it to, about Jalen Hurts. Whenever he's up in conversation, whenever he gets to the podium, it's going to just have to be a different switch that you're going to have to turn on to listen. Because he's not going to sound like any sophomore. He's not going to sound like any junior. He's going to sound like the kind of guy that has been to the promised land, that has tasted the milk and honey, and come back. He's showing up to Oklahoma as one of three other guys, now that Brian Odom's here, 3 guys with national championship rings. Cale Gundy, Brian Odom, and now Jalen Hurts. And, not for nothing, but Gundy and Odom's ring, they're about 20 years old. Jalen Hurts, he's won a national championship in the college football playoff era. And that is why Lincoln Riley wanted to bring him to Oklahoma. Because as good as Lincoln Riley has been, as good as OU will be, they have not won a national championship, and they have not, 2, even won a college football playoff game. You are not playing for a Big 12 title if you are at Oklahoma. You expect to win it. You won 4 straight. You are not playing for a Heisman Trophy. There are 7 of those at Oklahoma. The last 2 in a row have come here at quarterback. You are playing to win a college football playoff game, which is another way of saying you're playing to beat Alabama or Clemson. And if Jalen Hurts and Oklahoma get to play Alabama in a college football playoff game again, wow, would that ever be a spectacle and so much fun to watch, as will Jalen Hurts eventually this spring. Get to see him in the spring game and going forward into the 2019 season. All right, that is it for me. Deuces.